Right now, you're playing fair in a world that is absolutely ruthless. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can get ahead of 99% of people. And to be honest, nowadays it's pretty easy, considering that majority of men are asleep behind the wheel. So the first thing you have to realize is if you're in a position where growing your business, making more money, getting the caliber of women that you want to get feels difficult, it feels like a challenge, it feels hard right now, that just comes down to the fact that you are chasing. We've all heard the expression that in order to catch butterflies, don't go chasing them with a fucking net like a spastic. Build a beautiful garden. I'm not sure if that's how the expression goes exactly, but you get my drift. So right now you're asking yourself the question of, how can I get more women? How can I grow my business? How can I make more money? But it's the wrong question. Now, I'm not a business coach. I do have my own business. And only 12 weeks ago, I was in a position where I'd hit a plateau. I wasn't making more money. When it came to relationships and women, I was still getting women when I went out, but it was a lot fucking more difficult. And that just came down to the fact that I was chasing. I was at 20% body fat. I was chasing after women. I was asking myself the question, I'll just do a few more approaches. I'll just put more effort in. Instead of asking the simple fucking question of who would I have to become so that I would be attracting women to me. Because right now, if it feels like you're putting in effort but you're not getting the results that you want, you're in the wrong vehicle. It's like pulling up to the F1 weekend in Monaco, driving a Fiat Punto. How's that one going to go down? And you can put in all the effort, you can work as hard as you want. You're not going to beat the F1 cars, are you? So you've got two options in that scenario. You can continue to put in effort every single day, show up, follow your daily process, and continue to not get the results that you want. Or you can go back to the warehouse and you can build a fucking F1 car. And then you can come back in 6 months and you can absolutely smoke these cars. Because the question that you want to ask yourself is, who would I have to become so that I'd be able to obtain all of my derivative desires? It would just become inevitable. Ask yourself right now, somebody in your life who gets high caliber women, he does really well. What character traits does this individual possess? Is he in very good shape? Is he confident? Is he charismatic? Anyone that you know who's doing well in business right now, what character traits do they possess? Who is this guy? Is he disciplined? Is he consistent? Is he persistent? Does he show up every day even when it is difficult? And if you'll notice, there is a common theme in the character traits that these guys possess. Now, I always say there's like 3 phases in terms of what you should be chasing first. If you go chasing after women, you're an idiot because you're like the spastic chasing after butterflies with a net. If you go straight ahead into business, yeah, you might start to make more money, but you're going to be capped based on your own character traits and your own level of personal development. If you want, I like to think about it as if it's a river flowing downstream. And I like to think to myself, okay, where do I have to position myself in this river so I just catch everything downstream? I'm just a flowing river, the women come to me, the business growth comes, I make more money, I have more impact, and as a byproduct I just swoop it all up. And you know where it starts? It starts with your physique. And it's not just for the vanity metric of I'm 8 to 10% body fat. Just think about it. What do you have to do in order to get to 8 to 10% body fat and build an elite physique? To get something that 99% of people will never be able to obtain. You're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have to be disciplined. You're going to have to persevere through hard times. You're going to have to show up on the days that you don't feel like doing it. You're going to have very high standards for yourself on a daily basis. Now, don't you think if you had very high standards for yourself in one area, that they wouldn't bleed into your business? Because I can promise you this, when you are in very good shape, when you are looking at yourself in the mirror, and you're at 8 to 10% body fat, you look better than 99% of the population. Your standards raise massively. Your earning expectations raise massively. You'll be looking at yourself in the mirror. You'll realize that you're in better shape than 99% of the population. And you'll be having to talk to yourself of, no fucking way should I be only making the same money as Jack over there. There's no way I should only be making $5,000 a month. I've done something that 99% of people can't do. So therefore, if I can allow these character traits and this work ethic, discipline, consistency to bleed into a business or into my career, there's no reason why I shouldn't be earning more money. Because I've just proved to myself that I can do something that majority of men can't do. That's one element of it. Then when it comes to dating and relationships, your standards are going to raise massively because you're going to know your own worth. If you rush into a relationship and you go chasing after women, you're going to start validating yourself with women that aren't even of your caliber. You're going to start going for 6s and 7s when you could be getting 9s and 10s. Because if you settle with your physique, you will settle in a relationship. If you settle with your physique at 13 to 14% body fat, you are going to be the type of individual who settles for a 13 to 14% body fat physique in every realm of your life. Now, what do I mean by that? 13 to 14% body fat is mediocre. If you get there and you're like, you know what, I'm comfortable now, I'm in better shape than the majority of people, I feel healthy, I feel productive, I'm good here. That means as soon as you start making 10 grand a month in your business, you are going to coast. You're going to be like, I'm good enough here, I'm doing better than most, great. In your relationships, you're going to get a girl who's a 6 or 7 out of 10. You know, it's alright, it's better than most, I'm doing better than the lads. And you will settle. Do you not think that is such a slap in the face to God, that He gave you this big massive vision of where you could be? You know where you could be, you know the physique that you could have, you know the money that you would like to be making, you know the partner that you want to attract, or you know the level of relationship that you want to have. Do you not think that is a big slap in God's face to just settle and to waste your potential? And that's one of the sayings that I hate most in life. When are you going to settle down? That is a normie, that is a societal norm that people have just accepted. And this is why it's very easy to become complacent, because you're listening to what 99% of the population are doing. And you have to realize 99% of the population are retards, and you don't want to be anything like them. Now, let's also talk about how being in elite level shape is going to spill into your relationships, and it's going to help your business grow. When I was 20% body fat, my self-talk on a daily basis was destructive. I'd look at myself in the mirror and I'd feel like a fucking disgrace. I'd be looking at myself in the mirror and I wasn't proud of what was looking back. One of the lads could send me a picture of me lying out by the pool at like 20% body fat with a big puffy face, and I'd honestly be looking at the picture like, fucking hell, Dean. Like, how do you expect anyone to follow you? You can't even lead yourself to the physique that you want. When I would be doing my steps around Bali, I'd be wearing a fucking t-shirt first of all. I wouldn't be doing them topless. And my self-talk at the time was, again, like, fucking hell, Dean, you're out of shape. And wouldn't you agree, when you're having negative self-talk in one area of your life, that's going to bleed into your business. It's like you have a bucket here and this is your energy reserve. And when you're having negative self-talk on a daily basis, when your confidence isn't high, you've got a hole in your bucket. So it doesn't matter how much money you're making or the relationships that you're in. If you've got a hole in your bucket where you're leaking out energy with negative self-talk and low confidence, how the fuck do you expect to compete against the guys who are in very good shape, who are undeniable across the board? Because it is player versus player. Everyone wants that good looking chick that you want. Everyone wants them clients that you want. Everyone wants to have a thriving business. And I can categorically tell you for a fact that if there's a guy who's at 10% body fat, he's got a killer mindset, his standards are so high for himself on a daily basis, he is going to run you over. And this is the realization that I had to come to myself. I was in a position where my business was plateauing, I was at 20% body fat, my self-talk on a daily basis was destructive, my habits and my standards for myself were so low, and at the time I was trying to figure out, maybe I can get a new business tactic. Maybe I can just go on and watch this YouTube video of how to make 20k per month, or how to sign 5 clients in one day, or a new story sequence, or a new content hack. I was asking the wrong fucking questions. I needed to go back to the drawing board. I needed to bring myself back into the warehouse. And I needed to build myself up. And what happened as a byproduct of that? Through me building myself up, through getting back into very good shape, as a byproduct of that, I built my mindset, I built my confidence, I had more self-belief in myself. That's built into my business. I went on then to hire a business mentor because I had the self-belief in myself that I can show up for myself on a daily basis. I know when I tell myself I'm going to do something, I fucking do it. I've got full trust. And as a byproduct of that, last month I had my highest revenue month ever within my business. And that's because how you do anything is how you do everything. If you've got low confidence, if you've got low energy, good luck trying to get the fucking dream partner. Good luck trying to grow your business past 10k a month. Because you will get ran over. It is player versus player. I'm not sure if 99% of men realize that. And if you listen to the people around you who tell you, you're great the way you are, you're going to stay exactly where you are. You should never be comparing yourself to the people in your proximity. You should be comparing yourself in the people to the closest proximity to your goal and that highest version of you. Because when you jump onto a sales call, when you're in a conversation with a potential client, when you're talking to a girl, if you even flinch for a second, if you've got any ounce of negative self-talk, they can feel that a mile off. You have to become undeniable across the board. And that comes down to you building your standards. You having a daily process that guarantees you get 1% better every single day. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. If you can build your standards to such a high level in one area of your life, that has no choice but to bleed into everything else that you do. I have had clients who work in sales that have went from making 5k per month to 15k per month. And I didn't do any business coaching with them. It was just because of getting them into very good shape that allowed them to raise their standards in this one area of their life that bled into their business. They had more energy, more confidence when they're showing up onto the calls. And when it comes to business, when it comes to influence or persuasion or anything in life, people have to know, like, and trust you. If you are in very good shape, I'm talking 8 to 10% body fat, do you think people are going to take you more seriously? Of course they would. And if people took you more seriously, do you think they're going to be more or less likely to trust you? Of course they trust you more. And if they trusted you more, are they more or less likely to invest in you? This can be business or relationships. There's something that I was heavily influenced by, and it was the halo effect. And they've done research on this for decades. And it's essentially, if there is a guy who's in peak physical condition, he's got presence, he's lean, he's got a good level of muscle mass, people automatically assume that this guy is hardworking, this guy is consistent. And if people automatically associate them character traits with you, do you think you're going to do better or worse in life? Do you think you're going to have more success in life or not? And they've also done studies with the opposite of the halo effect, which is called the horn effect. Essentially saying that if you are out of shape, people automatically assume that you are less competent. Do you think that's going to benefit you? Just think about the polar opposites here. One version of you, people automatically assume, this guy's disciplined, he's consistent, he's trustworthy, he can lead. Versus this other guy, he's incompetent, can I trust him? I know he didn't want that physique. Nobody wants to be 15 to 20% body fat. Who do you think is going to have more success in life? In business? With women? Who? This guy. And it just comes down to raising your standards on a daily basis. Having a non-negotiable daily process that guarantees you get 1% better every single day. So what I will do, I have a non-negotiable daily process that I've used for the last 12 weeks to go from 20 to 10% body fat. That helped me build my confidence. Ended up helping me to go on to make more money in my business, get more admiration from women, more respect from men. So if you want a copy of this non-negotiable daily process, I will put my WhatsApp link in the description below. Tap on that, message me the word process, and I will send it over. Let's fucking get it. Let's go, lads.